Welcome back, Star Beings. Welcome to Spiritual Ascension, where we honor the soul, serve our life's purpose, and raise our vibration. So today I want to talk about, I'm going to do something a little bit, I'm going to add a little bit more to the channel. So here I'm going to incorporate some music that speaks to me spiritually. And it's from a certain artist. I'm going to be doing a few songs by him. Due to copyright claims and all that stuff, I'm not going to play the song, but the song will be in the description below. But I'm going to pick out lyrics from a specific song, and I'm going to share that with you, and then how I can take that and view it from a spiritual point of view. And so I think that's important because music is transcending through generations. Music is one of those things that it doesn't matter what religion you are, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter about any of that stuff. Music touches all of us in our hearts and our souls and our minds in a different way. And music transcends time, transcends space, and is so special to us as human beings. Music is always in our lives. If we're feeling sad, we listen to music. When we're feeling happy, we're listening to music. Music has helped us heal and has helped us grow over time. And so I'm going to incorporate one of my favorite artists and just pick a couple of his songs. Today we're going to be doing a song called Oh Lord, and it's going to be from the artist NF. So this song is very special to me. Actually, a lot of his songs, if not most, let me rephrase that. Just about every song he makes is very special to me. I connect with this artist very, very deeply. And he just writes music that hugs my soul, speaks to my soul, makes me think, opens my mind. And so we're going to cover Oh Lord today. And again, if you want to listen to the song, it'll be in the description below. But I just want to get right into the lyrics and kind of go over some things and tell you my vantage point from where I'm seeing it from a spiritual point of view. But I want to jump into this one. But he is very religious and I'm very spiritual. But I can still pull from this song as a spiritual human, as a spiritual multi-dimensional being living a human experience. That's me. And him as well. So the song is called Oh Lord. So here we go. When I die, put my ashes in a trash bag. I don't care where they go. Don't waste your money on my gravestone. I'm more concerned about my soul. Now right there on a spiritual level, that should connect to you. If you're hearing that right now, that should connect to you, okay? Don't waste money on a gravestone. I'm more concerned about my soul. And also one thing to keep in mind, we all live and we all die, right? That's just the cycle of life, right? But our soul never dies, right? Our soul is eternal. Our soul comes from the stars. We all come from the same place. We all come from God's source energy. All of us, on every planet, on every multi-universe, we all come from the same place. It's one source energy, God's source. We all come from that. Everything is energy. And we all come from one source energy. I like to say God source energy. And you can say one source energy or source energy. You might hear all these different terms. Doesn't matter what you want to call it, but it's still one energy source that everything, and I mean everything, comes from. And so remember too that funerals are not for the dead, they're for the living, okay? So he says, don't waste time on my body. I can care less about what happens to my body. I can care less about having a service or a gravestone. I'm more concerned about my soul, right? And so in spirituality, obviously, spirituality focuses on the soul and soul growth and soul development. That is spirituality. We focus on our soul through this lifetime. We don't ignore our soul. We serve our soul's purpose. We serve our soul's mission on this planet, okay? So, very strong lyrics there. Remember, Funerals are not for the dead, they are for the living, okay? So at this point, he's saying when I die, and I'm the same way, when I pass on, I don't care whatever happens to my body. I can care less. My soul is out. This is just one vessel that I've used. One vessel, this human body, one vessel in one lifetime out of hundreds of lifetimes that I'm going to live. Thousands of lifetimes that I'm going to live. This is one vessel. My soul is what leaves, right? So while you're here on this planet, soul growth is very important. That's on every life, okay? So he goes on saying, everybody's going to die, which is true, right? Don't everybody live, though, right? So everyone's going to die. Don't everybody live, though. So what he's saying there is that we're all going to die, but just because you are alive doesn't mean you actually lived. What he says there is that, did you really live your life to the fullest? Did you really get the most experience out of this life? Or did you just die, and then when you go up and get your life review and you look back at your life and you're like, man, I didn't learn a whole bunch. I didn't really get a lot of things done that I wanted to get done when I went into this life, right? So that's what he says. Everyone's going to die, but did you really live your life? You know? And so that hits me hard, because it's a reminder every day to live your life, to serve your soul's purpose, to make sure you are heading down the right path that you are supposed to be on. Then he says, sometimes I look up to the sky and wonder, do you see us down here? So he's questioning the things that happen in life. Do you see what's happening down here? And of course, source energy does. And the reason why things happen in life and you're like, oh my God, you know, and it doesn't, whatever your belief system is, whether you're spiritual or you're religious or whatever religion you practice, when you say, oh God, please, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to my family? Why did this happen to so-and-so? God is not going to, or source energy will not interfere, because these are life lessons you are supposed to learn. Everybody, 100%, everybody has something to learn in this lifetime. Not one thing, several things that we are meant, that we said, okay, when I come into this life, these are the things I want to learn. And then we have guides to keep us on track so we can learn those things. Sometimes we learn all of the things we set out to learn. Sometimes we don't. And then when we reflect, we're like, oof, man, if I did this one thing, I could have learned more. And based on our decisions, you know, is up to how much we're going to take back to the universe, right? How much are we going to learn, and how much are we going to develop our soul? Because we are here to develop our soul. Remember that. This life and every life is soul development. Soul development, okay? So, if you want to know what the purpose of life is, it's soul development. That is, in a nutshell, what it is. And then from soul development, you can take that like a seed, and then that seed will grow, and then it'll have branches, and then you need to learn compassion, you need to learn you know, all these different things that can come from the seed, right, that grows. But the main reason why we are here is soul development. Always remember that. Soul development. That is our purpose in life. In this life and in every life, okay? Our soul has to ascend to a higher vibration. Not just here on this planet, but in the universe. So when we pass on, if we are a 5th or 6th dimensional soul that has chosen to come live in a 3D planet Earth in this lifetime, we want our soul to ascend, right? Not just in this planet, yes, but also in the solar system. So when we pass on, we want, if we're a 5th dimensional being, right? We want to get to the 6th dimension. We want to get to the 7th dimension. We want our soul to develop. The only way to do that is through soul growth, okay? That is the life's purpose. So next, he goes into saying, listen, yeah, everybody wants change. Don't nobody change, though. Don't nobody want to pray till they got something to pray for. Ooh, ooh. And this is why I love NF. And when you hear him say it, it's way more stronger than when I'm saying it. I'm just reading lyrics, okay? So listen to the song below, and just listen to the lyrics. Even if you don't like this type of music, listen to the lyrics, because the lyrics is what we're here for. We're here for what he's trying to say. We're here for the message, right? Listen, everyone wants change, but nobody wants to change though, right? So we want things to change, but we don't want to change, right? So we want the world to change around us, but we don't want to be a part of the change. Now, I'm not saying that's me, and I'm not saying that's you, but there's so many of us, right? There's so many humans out there that want change, but they don't want to contribute to the change. They just want to see it happen. Nobody want to pray until they got something to pray for, right? So a lot of people on this planet right now are not spiritual, don't have a religion, and don't have a belief system, okay? Which is, in all honesty, they are exactly where they need to be. So although this is true, that doesn't mean that these individuals are living a wrong life or a sinful life. Not at all. We are exactly where we're supposed to be, okay? So if they're not spiritual today, they might become spiritual, or if they don't have a religion today, they might find a religion somewhere down the road, okay? So just because they're not a certain way today doesn't mean they can't change, or something's not going to happen in their life that's going to impact them to make them view God, spirituality, religion in a different way, right? Than they currently view it at. So we are all exactly where we're supposed to be today. But it makes a lot of sense though. Nobody wants to pray until they got something to pray for. So how many times do you or your friends or anybody you know want to pray or ask God for help only when it best serves you, right? You're not talking to God, right? You're not meditating, you're not spiritual until, a life or death situation, and now you're just begging, sorry God, I know I've ignored you my whole life, or sorry source energy, or sorry universe, I've ignored you my whole life, and now I need something from you, right? How many times have we personally done this before? I'm guilty. Growing up as a kid, yeah. I mean, even as a teenager, yeah. I'm very guilty, right? So this is part of our soul's development on this planet, and this is part of the things that we go through as humans. But he's very real when he says this, Nobody wants to pray until they got something to pray for. Then he goes further. It's easy to blame God, but harder to fix things. We look in the sky like, why aren't you listening? Watching the news in our living room on our big screens and talking about if God's real, then where is he? Very powerful, right? So many people blame God. God, why did you let this happen? God, why is this happening to me? I have personally, again, as a teenager, I have done these things. People do these things every day. They blame God for whatever's happening bad in their life, right? And it's not God that's doing it, right? There's two things. Well, there could be three or four, but there's two main things to take away from this. It's easy to blame God, but harder to fix things. So what do, right? There's two things. Number one, you have to remember that you signed a spiritual contract before you came into this life, and you agreed to the things that you are experiencing. So whatever you experience, no matter how hard your life is, no matter what is happening, no matter how bad or how good things are, you chose to experience this for your soul's development. Okay? You forgot that you chose it, but you did. Number two, life doesn't happen to you. Life responds to your decisions. Life doesn't happen to you. Life responds to the decisions you make. So if things are not happening the right way at work or in a relationship, it's because of the decisions you're making. Not God is not changing anything. God's not doing anything. You are by making the wrong decisions, right? Making wrong decisions helps us learn and grow. And when we learn and grow, that is part of soul development. Again, that is the basis of our life. Soul development, right? So then we get into the next lyrics. You see the same God that you saying might not even exist. So God, you're saying God might not even exist, but becomes real to you or becomes real to us, but only when we're dying in bed, right? How many people, when they're on their deathbed, say, oh my God, I believe in God, or God, please help me, you know? A lot of people live their whole life and do not practice spirituality, do not practice any form of religion. And again, I will say that is perfectly fine. They are where they were supposed to be, right? Yes, that is completely fine. You don't have to. If you practice spirituality, you are going to reap its benefits. And there are a lot of benefits. If you practice religion, there are benefits to that too. And if you don't practice any of that, you're not going to hell. There's no such thing as hell. That's part of what the difference between religion and spirituality is. There's no such thing as hell, right? Hell doesn't exist. But there's a lot of people that are on their deathbed that are now praying to God, right? And the reason why is because a lot of times when we are on our deathbed, we start to see angels. Because we're so close to passing, we're starting to see people or spirits or angels or multidimensional beings or our guides, or it could be an archangel. We're starting to see things or individuals or individual souls that are going to help us cross over. And you start seeing that on your final days. And I know this because on March 31st, I lost my father. 2 weeks ago, I lost my dad. He passed away from cancer. And he was talking to a female in the room days before he passed. So he saw something and he never believed in the afterlife. My dad is the perfect example of somebody who lives their life with no spirituality, who lives their life with no religion, and then on his deathbed, he now starts to see and starts to believe in the afterlife, right? And so he's a perfect example of this happening. And NF hits it on the head right here when he talks about it. He becomes real to us, but only when we are dying in bed. When y'all healthy, it's like we don't really care for him, right? When we're healthy, we forget about God. Well, we don't need you, God. We're good. I'm good, man. I'm making the money I need to make. I'm wealthy. I'm healthy. I'm living life. God doesn't exist. I don't even need you. Uh-oh. But when heartache comes, oh, God, please help me. Oh, God, please help me. And so there's a lot of, you can see how from Nate's point of view, that's his name, Nate, NF, from his point of view, he's looking at that like, man, if you only knew how much better your life would be if you actually, instead of just asking or talking to God in dire needs, like when you're dying or when tragedy hits and that's the only time you speak to God or you speak to the angels or you speak to your guides or whoever you speak to, right? When you only pray or when you only ask for help in times of need, but you ignore them in times of fruitfulness, when you have things, right? When you ignore them, you are not taking full advantage of spirituality. You're not taking full advantage of the opportunities and benefits of spirituality and from his point of view, religion, okay? Leave me alone, God. I'll call you when I need you again. That's what he's saying. He's not saying this. He's just saying that's what people say. Leave me alone, God. I'll call you when I need you again. When I'm down in the dumps, when I'm at my lowest low, that's when I'll reach out to you. But until then, we're good, man. We're Gucci, right? And that's not, that hits me hard because I see this in everyday life. I see this happening all around us. This happens all around us. And I just want to bring awareness to it. And that's why I love NF, is because his music hits me, like it hugs my soul. And he's so right when he talks about this stuff. So leave me alone, God. I'll call you when I need you again. Which is funny. Everyone will sleep in the pews, then blame God for our problems like he's sleeping on you. God doesn't sleep on you, man. I'm telling you right now, God is not sleeping on you. You might be sleeping on God, or you might be sleeping on source energy, right? So keep that in mind. And NF brings this, and it's just like it hits you when you hear him say it. I really recommend listening to the song after the video. When he says it really hits you, man. Like it really hits you hard. We turn our backs on him, but what do you expect him to do? It's hard to answer prayers when nobody's praying to you. So we are all here for spiritual ascension of our soul through soul development. That is our life's purpose on every life that we live, is soul development, okay? And so the universe has reminded me that life is precious, that life can be taken at any moment. So don't waste yours. And I thank you guys so much for watching. Have an energetic day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.